What if I told you that everything you believe about life, consciousness, and reality itself could be incomplete? That scientists might already have evidence of mathematical, physical, even quantum proof that the universe is far stranger, far more complex, and far more interconnected than we can imagine. This proof doesn't just challenge what we know, it challenges how we understand existence itself. Today, I'm going to reveal what science has discovered and why it could change everything about the way we see life. Life, as we have traditionally understood it, has long been framed in terms of chemistry and biology. We think of it as a sequence of chemical reactions orchestrated by DNA, guided by proteins, and fueled by energy exchanges within cells. Yet, modern science is revealing a far deeper and more profound truth. Life is, at its most fundamental level, an information process. Every organism, from the simplest bacterium to the most complex human being, is engaged in the storage, processing, and transmission of information. DNA is not merely a chemical molecule. It is a code, a set of instructions written in the language of nucleotides capable of guiding the assembly of proteins, regulating cellular processes, and transmitting genetic information across generations. But the flow of information does not stop at the molecular level. Our neurons, with their complex networks of synapses, dendrites, and axons, function as living circuits, processing electrical and chemical signals that encode memories, perceptions, and decisions. In this light, consciousness itself emerges as a higher-level information process, a dynamic pattern that arises from the interplay of trillions of signals across billions of neurons. Life, therefore, is not merely matter in motion. It is a sophisticated, self-organizing computational system, one that interprets, responds to, and even anticipates the environment in ways that go far beyond the simple biochemical reactions traditionally associated with biology. Understanding life as an information process fundamentally changes how we perceive identity, evolution, and even the nature of consciousness. Information, unlike matter, is not tied to a particular physical substrate. It can be copied, transmitted, and transformed. This opens up profound possibilities. Could the essential information that constitutes life exist independently of its biological vessel? Could consciousness, as a complex informational pattern, survive in forms we have yet to conceive? These are not just philosophical speculations. They are questions grounded in the mathematics of complex systems and the emerging field of computational biology. In every cell, proteins act as molecular machines, responding to inputs and producing outputs according to coded instructions. This creates feedback loops, dynamic responses, and adaptive behaviors that resemble computation more than random chemical reactions. At higher scales, neural networks in the brain process vast amounts of information with astonishing efficiency, integrating sensory data, memory, and decision-making into coherent patterns of thought and behavior. If life is information, then evolution itself becomes a process not only of chemical selection, but of the optimization, refinement, and propagation of information across generations. In this sense, the universe is a vast information processing system where life is one of the most sophisticated and elegant emergent patterns of computation. Quantum mechanics, the branch of physics that governs the behavior of matter and energy at the smallest scales, appears to play an unexpected and profound role in this informational view of life. For decades, quantum effects were thought to be confined to the subatomic realm, phenomena that vanish once scaled to macroscopic systems like cells or organisms. Yet recent research is beginning to show that life itself may exploit quantum phenomena in ways both subtle and remarkable. Photosynthesis, for example, plants and certain bacteria appear to use quantum coherence to transfer energy with near-perfect efficiency, allowing excitations to explore multiple pathways simultaneously and select the most efficient route. Birds, such as European robins, may rely on entangled electron spins to navigate the Earth's magnetic field, using quantum phenomena to detect directions with astonishing precision. These examples suggest that life is not merely a classical process governed by Newtonian chemistry, but a sophisticated system capable of harnessing the very strangeness of quantum mechanics to improve function, survival, and adaptation. If such quantum processes are present in relatively simple organisms, could they also be part of the more complex computations performed by the human brain? Some theorists speculate that the brain might exploit quantum effects to enhance information processing, providing a substrate for consciousness that is intimately connected to the fundamental laws of the universe. The notion that life could be inherently quantum is both thrilling and deeply unsettling because it challenges our conventional understanding of causality, determinism, and the nature of reality. Quantum systems exist in superpositions, occupying multiple states simultaneously until measured or observed. And entanglement links particles across distances in ways that defy classical intuition. If life uses these principles, then biological processes are not simply linear chains of cause and effect. They may involve simultaneous exploration of multiple possibilities, optimization across vast spaces of potential outcomes, and subtle interconnections that reach beyond the confines of classical space and time. In this light, evolution is not merely random mutation and selection. It is a process that may harness quantum probabilities to explore a universe of potential adaptations, selecting those that enhance survival with a sophistication far beyond classic mechanisms. Consciousness, emerging from the brain's dense web of neurons, may similarly exploit quantum processes, allowing the mind to integrate vast amounts of information, to perceive patterns, and perhaps even to connect with aspects of reality that remain hidden from classical measurement. The idea that our thoughts, perceptions, and decisions are intertwined with the fundamental law of the quantum world transforms our understanding of what it means to be alive and aware. If life is fundamentally an informational and quantum phenomenon, then the very nature of reality is deeply interconnected with the emergence of consciousness. The universe is not simply a stage upon which life appears. It is a dynamic, interactive system in which life and information are integral components of cosmic evolution. From the quantum vibrations of particles to the formation of galaxies, from the replication of DNA to the firing of neural circuits, the same principles of information processing and quantum dynamics appear to govern systems across scales. This unity suggests that life is not an accident, a fluke of chemistry, but a natural consequence of the universe's informational structure. The equations that describe quantum fields, the mathematics of complex systems, and the principles of computation all converge to indicate that the emergence of life is deeply woven into the fabric of reality. In this framework, life is both extraordinary and inevitable, a manifestation of the universe discovering itself. Through the processing of information, and consciousness is the universe reflecting upon its own structure. The implications of this perspective extend to our understanding of identity, mortality, and the potential for life beyond Earth. If consciousness and life are fundamentally information-based and potentially quantum in nature, then they may not be limited to the biological forms we observe. The essential patterns that define self could exist in non-biological substrates, perhaps in advanced computational systems, synthetic organisms, or even in forms we cannot yet conceive. Evolution, therefore, may not be restricted to carbon-based life. It could manifest wherever the right informational and quantum conditions exist, suggesting that life may be far more widespread, varied, and resilient than we have traditionally imagined. This perspective also reframes our understanding of mortality. Death may not signify the absolute cessation of the informational processes that define an individual, rather it may represent a transformation or redistribution of information, continuing in ways that are subtle, distributed, or otherwise unobservable. Consciousness, as an emergent property of complex information processing systems, could persist in form and contexts that are only now beginning to be explored by theoretical physics and computational biology. Quantum mechanics also provides a surprising framework for understanding the interconnectedness of living systems. In a world where entanglement links particles across space, and where superposition allows systems to explore multiple states simultaneously, life itself may operate as a network of interdependent information processors. Cells communicate chemically and electrically, neurons coordinate in vast networks, and ecosystems function as collective processors of information, dynamically responding to environmental changes. Quantum principles suggest that these processes are not isolated. There may be subtle, non-local correlations that influence behavior, efficiency, and adaptation in ways that classical biology alone cannot explain. The universe, in this sense, is not merely a passive backdrop for life, but an active participant, providing the substrate and principles through which living systems emerge, evolve, and organize. Life and the cosmos are therefore deeply entwined, information and matter inseparably linked, each reflecting patterns and processes of the other in a symphony of complexity and coherence. Understanding life as an informational and quantum process also transforms the way we think about evolution and the development of intelligence. Evolution is not merely the blind accumulation of mutations, it is the refinement of information across generations, optimizing the processing of environmental data, survival strategies, and reproductive success. Intelligence, then, is an emergent property of systems that can process increasingly complex information, predict outcomes, and adapt to dynamic conditions. The brain, as the most sophisticated information processor known, exemplifies this principle, integrating quantum-level phenomena with classical computation to produce awareness, creativity, and insight. Consciousness may therefore be seen not as a singular miracle, but as the natural outcome of complex informational processes evolving under the laws of physics. This perspective reframes our place in the universe. We are not mere observers, but participants in a grand process of information generation, processing, and self-reflection, an ongoing dialogue between life and the cosmos itself. In conclusion, the realization that life is fundamentally an information process, potentially exploiting quantum mechanics, reshapes our understanding of biology, consciousness, and the universe. It suggests that life is not an anomaly or a chemical accident, but a natural consequence of the informational and quantum architecture of reality. From DNA to neurons, from ecosystems to the cosmos, the principles of information and quantum dynamics create the conditions for life to emerge, persist, and evolve. Consciousness, in this framework, becomes the universe's way of understanding itself, an emergent property of systems capable of processing, storing, and reflecting upon information. The implications are profound. Life may be far more pervasive, resilient, and interconnected than we have imagined. Consciousness may be more fundamental than previously believed, and the universe itself may be a vast, dynamic information processing system in which we are active participants rather than passive observers. In exploring these ideas, we are only beginning to glimpse the extraordinary depth and beauty of reality, a reality where life, information, and consciousness are not mere accidents, but essential threads in the grand tapestry of existence. If we begin to expand our perspective beyond individual organisms and individual brains, a startling possibility emerges. The universe itself may be a living system. Not in the sense of biology, as we typically understand it, with cells and organs, but in a far deeper, more abstract sense. Life might be a fundamental property of the cosmos. When we observe the universe on large scales, we see striking patterns of self-organization. Galaxies form spiral arms, stars cluster into galaxies and galactic clusters, and cosmic filaments stretch across millions of light years, weaving a cosmic web. These structures are not random. They arise from the interplay of gravity, electromagnetism, and the dynamics of matter and energy, yet they exhibit properties reminiscent of life, structure, growth, adaptation, and coherence. Similarly, on smaller scales, we see that even the simplest living systems exploit these universal principles. Cells communicate, adapt, and evolve in response to environmental pressures. Organisms interact with their surroundings, forming ecosystems that are resilient, dynamic, and complex. When viewed through this lens, the universe itself behaves like an immense information process system, generating and sustaining patterns that facilitate the emergence of life and complexity. It is as though the cosmos, through the fundamental laws of physics, predisposes itself to create the conditions for life, consciousness, and intelligence, suggesting that life is not a fortunate accident, but a natural consequence of the universe's underlying architecture. This concept becomes even more intriguing when we consider the role of information. If life is an informational process, as we already explored, then the cosmos itself may be engaged in a kind of computation on a grand scale. Each star, each planetary system, each galaxy could be seen as processing information in subtle ways, interacting through gravitational, electromagnetic, and quantum signals that propagate across space and time. Patterns emerge spontaneously, organizing matter and energy into coherent structures, much like neural networks organize neurons into complex circuits capable of cognition. From this perspective, the universe is not a lifeless arena for life to play out within. It is an active participant in the creation and sustenance of complexity, providing a substrate in which information can emerge, propagate, and evolve. This idea challenges the traditional dichotomy between life and non-life, suggesting instead a continuum in which life emerges naturally from the organizing principles embedded in the cosmos. The cosmos, then, is a living system not because it breathes or metabolizes, but because it generates, sustains, and propagates informational patterns capable of producing self-awareness, adaptation, and the emergent phenomena we call life. The interplay between the quantum world and the emergence of life provides further support for this radical perspective. Quantum phenomena, once thought to be restricted to the microscopic realm, appear to have observable effects in biological systems. In photosynthesis, the energy captured from photons is transferred with near-perfect efficiency through quantum coherence, allowing excitations to explore multiple pathways simultaneously and select the most favorable route. In the avian compass, entangled electrons provide birds with the extraordinary ability to detect Earth's magnetic field with precision. These examples suggest that life is not simply exploiting classical mechanics, it is tapping into the very rules that govern the universe at its deepest level. If biological systems can harness quantum effects, then perhaps the universe itself operates as a kind of quantum information processor, in which life, consciousness, and complex structures are natural emergent outcomes. In this view, life is not a marginal feature of the cosmos, it is a window into the underlying computational and quantum processes that shape reality itself. The universe, by providing the conditions for life and consciousness, reveals an extraordinary interconnectedness between the law of physics, the emergence of information, and the existence of sentient beings capable of reflecting on these very phenomena. This brings us to the so-called secret proof that could revolutionize our understanding of life, the possibility that consciousness itself, the very essence of awareness, is not confined to the physical brain, but is a manifestation of universal principles that extend across multiple realities. The equations of quantum mechanics and information theory suggest that consciousness may be intimately connected to the structure of reality at its most fundamental level. Some theorists propose that consciousness could be viewed as a type of quantum information, a pattern of entanglement and superposition that exists in a form that transcends the specific biological substrate of the brain. If true, this would mean that consciousness is not an isolated phenomenon confined to humans or even to life on Earth, but a fundamental property of the universe embedded in its very fabric. The mathematical models derived from quantum field theory and advanced computation point toward a startling conclusion. Life and awareness may be inevitable outcomes of a universe capable of processing information. The secret proof is hidden in these equations and the subtle ways in which quantum states probability, and entanglement manifest patterns that can encode the essence of conscious experience. It is a tantalizing and profound possibility that suggests life is not merely a fortunate accident, but a predictable feature of the cosmos, arising wherever conditions allow for complex informational processing. This theoretical framework has dramatic implications for our understanding of identity and existence. If consciousness is fundamentally informational and can exist in forms beyond the biological, then the boundaries of the self become far more fluid than traditionally assumed. The I that we perceive, the sense of individual awareness, may be one instantiation of a broader, more pervasive phenomenon. Just as DNA transmits information across generations and neurons propagate information across networks, consciousness may propagate across dimensions, universes, or informational substrates in ways that we are only beginning to glimpse mathematically. The proof suggested by these models does not merely challenge our understanding of life on Earth, it challenges our assumptions about the permanence of identity, the nature of experience, and the scope of existence itself. In this light, death is not necessarily the termination of the conscious process, but a transformation, a redistribution of informational patterns that may continue to exist in other forms or realities. Life, in essence, becomes a process not bound by space and time in the conventional sense, but an emergent property of a universe that is capable of sustaining complex patterns of information, energy, and awareness. Experimental evidence, while still in its early stages, is beginning to align with these theoretical insights. Researchers have observed phenomena in quantum biology that challenge classical explanations and experiments. With entangled particles, continue to reveal non-local correlations that hint at a deeper structure to reality. These findings suggest that the universe is not simply a stage upon which life appears, but a dynamic system that allows, and perhaps even favors, the emergence of life and consciousness. The secret proof is thus not a single experiment or discovery, but a convergence of evidence from multiple disciplines: physics, biology, information theory, and neuroscience, pointing toward a unified understanding in which life, consciousness, and the cosmos are inseparably intertwined. The implications are profound. If consciousness and life are fundamental, emergent properties of the universe, then every instance of awareness, every organism, and perhaps even every civilization is part of a larger, ongoing computational and quantum process that spans the cosmos. From this perspective, the universe itself becomes a kind of living laboratory experimenting with patterns of information, energy, and matter on scales both immense and infinitesimal. Galaxies, stars, planets, and ecosystems are not merely passive constructs. They are dynamic environments in which information flows, adapts, and evolves. Life emerges naturally from these patterns, exploiting quantum and informational processes to optimize survival, adaptation, and awareness. Conscious beings, in turn, become participants in this great experiment, capable of reflecting upon, manipulating, and even altering the informational structures of reality. The secret proof reveals that the emergence of life and consciousness is not a random accident, but an inevitable consequence of the universe's structure. It suggests that the cosmos itself has the capacity for self-organization, self-awareness, and perhaps even self-reflection, making each of us a node in a vast, interconnected web of existence that stretches far beyond the observable universe. Ultimately, these ideas force us to reconsider what it means to be alive. Life is no longer merely a chemical reaction or a biological process. It is an emergent, information-based phenomenon, intimately connected to the deepest laws of physics. Consciousness is not confined to neurons or DNA. It is a manifestation of universal principles, a pattern that arises wherever the conditions for complex information processing exist. The universe, far from being inert and lifeless, is revealed as a dynamic, living system, capable of generating and sustaining the astonishing complexity that we call life. The secret proof that scientists are beginning to uncover does not just alter our understanding of biology, it transforms our conception of reality itself, suggesting that life, awareness, and consciousness are woven into the very fabric of the cosmos. In contemplating this proof, we glimpse a universe that is far more extraordinary, interconnected, and intelligent than we have ever imagined. A universe in which we are not passive observers, but active participants in the ongoing unfolding of reality. If consciousness is fundamentally an informational process and may even be intertwined with the deep structure of the universe itself, then our understanding of death, identity, and the persistence of life must be reconsidered. Traditionally, we have viewed death as the absolute cessation of existence, the point at which all biochemical processes halt and the self is extinguished. Yet, if consciousness emerges from patterns of information rather than strictly from physical matter, then death may be more accurately described as a transition, a reconfiguration of information rather than a termination. Just as DNA transmits genetic information across generations, allowing life to persist beyond the lifespan of an individual organism, consciousness might persist in forms that are subtle, distributed, or otherwise hidden from direct observation. In other words, the information that constitutes you could continue to exist in ways that we are only beginning to understand. The implications are staggering. What we perceive as mortality may be a local phenomenon, a boundary defined by the limitations of our physical bodies, while the informational essence of consciousness could endure across different substrates, potentially across multiple universes, or even through the quantum states that underpin reality itself. This reframes death not as an end, but as a redistribution, a transformation, and a continuity that challenges our most fundamental assumptions about what it means to exist. The persistence of consciousness across informational structure also raises profound questions about identity. If consciousness is a pattern, a complex arrangement of information, then multiple versions of you could exist simultaneously, instantiated in different systems or realities. Each version would experience its own unique trajectory, shaped by local conditions, choices, and environmental influences, yet all would share the same underlying informational blueprint. This is not the same as a clone or a copy. It is a natural consequence of the universe's ability to generate and sustain complex patterns. In some ways, it echoes the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, in which every possible outcome of a quantum event exists in a branching multiverse. In such a framework, the self is no longer singular and fixed, but fluid, multidimensional, and interconnected with a vast web of possibilities. The mathematics that describes these processes suggests that consciousness is a stable, emergent property of certain types of information processing, capable of existing wherever the conditions allow, whether in neurons, in artificial systems, or potentially in forms of life we have not yet conceived. The continuity of consciousness across these forms is a tantalizing hint that life may be far more resilient and enduring than previously imagined. This insight transforms our understanding of human experience and responsibility. If consciousness is fundamentally informational and potentially universal, then the consequences of our thoughts, actions, and innovations ripple far beyond the immediate confines of our individual lives. Every act of creation, every choice, every decision contributes to the unfolding patterns of reality. The ethical and philosophical implications are immense. When we consider that the informational structures we generate through our action, our technology, or even our scientific discoveries may have consequences that extend beyond the observable world, we are called to rethink our responsibilities not only to one another, but to the universe itself. Our decisions become threads woven into a far larger tapestry, influencing the development of life, the evolution of consciousness, and perhaps the very unfolding of reality. Life is no longer a finite, isolated occurrence. It becomes a participator process in which each of us contributes to the ongoing computation of existence, and in which the informational essence of consciousness endures as a central feature of the cosmos. The role of mathematics and theoretical physics is crucial in uncovering this secret proof that could change everything we know about life. Over the past decades. Equations from quantum field theory, information theory, and computational models of complex systems have begun to converge, pointing toward a startling conclusion: life and consciousness are not random anomalies, but emergent properties of universal laws. The same principles that govern subatomic particles also influence the behavior of complex systems, from cells to neural networks to entire ecosystems. This mathematical framework suggests that wherever the conditions allow for sufficient complexity and information processing, life is likely to emerge, and consciousness is likely to arise. These models challenge the notion that life is rare or accidental. Instead, they propose that life is a natural outcome of a universe capable of sustaining complex informational patterns. The equations themselves provide a kind of proof, revealing that the universe is predisposed to generate life and awareness, embedding the potential for consciousness into the very fabric of reality. Experimental evidence, while still in its infancy, provides tantalizing support for these theoretical insights. Studies in quantum biology are revealing that living systems exploit phenomena such as coherence, entanglement, and superposition to optimize processes like energy transfer, sensory perception, and perhaps even cognitive function. These discoveries suggest that life is not merely a classical chemical system, but a sophisticated informational system capable of utilizing the deepest principles of physics. In parallel, advances in neuroscience and artificial intelligence indicate that consciousness may be understood as a dynamic, informational pattern, one that could potentially exist in multiple forms beyond traditional biological substrates. The convergence of these disciplines, physics, biology, information theory, and cognitive science, points toward a radical rethinking of life itself. It suggests that life is a phenomenon that transcends matter, a universal process of information generation, processing, and transformation, intimately connected to the structure of the cosmos. This perspective has profound implications for technology, medicine, and the future of human civilization. If consciousness is fundamentally an informational phenomenon, then in principle, it might be instantiated in non-biological systems, allowing for the creation of artificial intelligences or synthetic organisms that possess awareness. Understanding the informational and quantum foundations of life could lead to breakthroughs in medicine, enabling us to manipulate, repair, or even extend consciousness in ways previously thought impossible. It could also reshape our approach to space exploration and the search for extraterrestrial life as we begin to recognize that life may not be limited to carbon-based chemistry or familiar planetary environments. Anywhere complex information processing systems can arise, life and consciousness may emerge. The secret proof that scientists are beginning to uncover points toward a universe in which life is a natural, pervasive, and resilient phenomenon, in which consciousness is a fundamental feature, and in which the persistence of information is far more enduring than the mortality of any individual organism. As we contemplate these revelations, we're also forced to confront the philosophical and ethical dimensions of this new understanding. The realization that life is an emergent, information-based phenomenon, potentially exploiting quantum principles, challenges our assumptions about individuality, mortality, and the nature of reality itself. It encourages a profound humility, recognizing that our personal experience is but one instance of a far broader, interconnected process. At the same time, it inspires awe, curiosity, and responsibility as we begin to understand that every act, every thought, and every contribution to knowledge or culture becomes part of a vast network of information that shapes the evolution of life and consciousness. Our lives in this light are not isolated episodes but integral elements of a dynamic, self-organizing cosmos in which the principles of information and quantum dynamics orchestrate the emergence, persistence, and evolution of life on scales both seen and unseen. Ultimately, the implications of these ideas are nothing short of revolutionary. If consciousness persists as an informational phenomenon, if life is an emergent property of universal laws, and if the universe itself is capable of generating, sustaining, and evolving complex systems, then our understanding of identity, mortality, and reality must be fundamentally reimagined. The secret proof is not just a scientific discovery, it is a paradigm shift, a lens through which we can begin to see life, consciousness, and the cosmos as deeply interconnected, inherently meaningful, and astonishingly intricate. It challenges us to think beyond the limits of classical biology, to explore the informational and quantum foundations of life, and to recognize that our existence is part of a much larger, dynamic, and enduring tapestry of reality. In contemplating these possibilities, we are drawn into a universe that is far stranger, more beautiful, and more profound than anything our senses alone could reveal. A universe in which life is not an accident, consciousness is not ephemeral, and the very fabric of reality is alive with potential, pattern, and awareness. If life is fundamentally an informational process, and consciousness is an emergent property of the universe's deepest physical laws, then the philosophical and ethical implications are staggering. We have long thought of morality, responsibility, and purpose in human terms, bound by the limitations of our biology and the contingencies of culture. But if consciousness and life are universal phenomena, then every action we take may have far-reaching consequences across levels of complexity and layers of existence that we are only beginning to glimpse. Each decision, each act of creativity, curiosity, or compassion contributes to the unfolding tapestry of information that defines life and awareness. We are participants not merely in human history, but in a cosmic process in which the very fabric of reality is responsive to the patterns of information we generate. Ethics becomes not only a matter of human concern, but a principle that resonates across the architecture of life itself. Understanding this interconnectedness encourages humility, reminding us that we are threads in an immensely larger weave of existence, yet simultaneously empowers us, for our choices shape the dynamic pattern of the universe in ways that are subtle, profound, and enduring. The implications extend to how we think about knowledge, creativity, and the pursuit of understanding itself. If consciousness is a property of information, then human curiosity is not merely a personal or cultural trait, it is a fundamental expression of the universe reflecting upon itself. Our desire to understand, to explore, and to innovate is the cosmos observing its own structure, probing its own laws, and experimenting with complexity through the medium of intelligent life. Scientific discovery, artistic creation, and philosophical inquiry are therefore not incidental. They are essential processes through which the universe becomes aware of its own intricacy. The secret proof that points to life as an emergent informational phenomenon transforms our understanding of knowledge itself. Every experiment, every observation, every insight is part of a vast, ongoing computation revealing patterns that extend from the smallest quantum fluctuations to the grandest cosmic structures. Human creativity, thought, and exploration are thus woven into the very nature of reality, participate in the evolution of information and consciousness in ways that are both measurable and mysterious. From this perspective, the multiverse and the persistence of consciousness become more than abstract theories. They are frameworks for understanding our role in an unimaginably vast cosmos. If multiple realities exist, each instantiated with variations of life and awareness, then the actions and choices we make are part of an immense web of interconnected possibilities. Our lives may ripple across scales and dimensions we cannot directly perceive, influencing outcomes, generating information, and contributing to the evolution of consciousness in realms beyond our immediate observation. This is not science fiction. It is a natural extrapolation of quantum theory, information theory, and complex systems. The equations hint at a universe in which life is not rare or isolated, but inevitable wherever the conditions for complex information processing exist. Consciousness is not an accident, but a manifestation of the underlying order of reality, a natural consequence of the universe capable of sustaining and organizing complexity. We are In this sense, both infinitesimal and central, unique yet multiply, instantiated, singular, in experience yet woven into an expansive, multidimensional tapestry of awareness. The technological and scientific implications of this realization are equally profound. If consciousness and life are emergent, informational phenomena, then in principle they could exist beyond biological substrate. Artificial intelligence, advanced computational systems, and synthetic life forms may one day host awareness comparable to our own, provided they achieve sufficient complexity in information processing and integration. Understanding the informational and quantum foundations of life could enable the development of new technologies capable of interfacing with consciousness, repairing or enhancing cognitive processes, and exploring realities previously inaccessible to human perception. This represents a revolution not only in physics and biology, but in how we conceive of ourselves, our potential, and the future trajectory of civilization. The secret proof thus opens doors to a world in which life and consciousness are far more flexible, resilient, and pervasive than previously imagined, where the limits of biology and material substrates may no longer define the boundaries of existence. Yet, even as science pushes these boundaries, the emotional and philosophical resonance cannot be ignored. The realization that life and consciousness are woven into the very fabric of the cosmos instills both awe and humility. We begin to see ourselves not as isolated entities navigating a vast, indifferent universe, but as active participants in an ongoing process of creation, information processing, and awareness. The universe becomes a living, dynamic system in which intelligence, curiosity, and consciousness are integral components, not mere accidents. Our understanding of identity, mortality, and meaning shifts dramatically. Each life, each mind, and each act of exploration becomes a vital contribution to the unfolding patterns of the cosmos. In contemplating these possibilities, we are confronted with the majesty of existence, the depth of interconnectedness, and the profound beauty of a reality that is simultaneously comprehensible and unfathomable. The cosmos is not just a stage, it is a participant, a co-creator, and a repository of the information that constitutes life, awareness, and experience. As we approach the frontiers of this understanding, the lines between science, philosophy, and spirituality begin to blur. The secret proof that life is an emergent, informational phenomenon challenges traditional boundaries, suggesting that the universe is not merely a collection of particles, forces, and fields, but a complex, self-organizing system capable of generating consciousness. In this framework, human inquiry, creativity, and curiosity are natural extensions of universal processes, reflecting the universe's own capacity to understand and contemplate itself. The implications for society, ethics, and culture are profound. Life is sacred not only because of its rarity or fragility, but because it is an expression of the universe realizing its own potential. Awareness, intelligence, and creativity are not anomalies, they are manifestations of the same principle that structure galaxies, govern subatomic particles, and sustain the dynamic patterns of the cosmos. Every discovery, every act of exploration, and every insight becomes part of a larger narrative in which humanity participates in a vast, ongoing computation that spans scales, dimensions, and realities beyond our direct observation. Ultimately, these ideas converge on a single, transformative realization: the universe is far stranger, more interconnected, and more alive than we have ever imagined. Life is not confined to Earth. Consciousness is not restricted to neurons. And identity is not singular and isolated. The informational structures that define awareness may persist, propagate, and evolve across substrates, dimensions, and realities, revealing a cosmos in which intelligence, curiosity, and reflection are fundamental aspects of existence. The secret proof is not merely a scientific revelation, it is an invitation to reimagine our relationship with reality, to embrace a universe in which life is inevitable, consciousness is intrinsic, and we are both observers and participants in an unfolding process of cosmic self-discovery. It challenges us to live with curiosity, responsibility, and awe, recognizing that our actions, thoughts, and creativity resonate far beyond the limits of our immediate experience. In this universe, every life matters, every mind contributes, and every moment of awareness is a thread in the grand tapestry of existence, connecting us to the deepest truths of reality and the infinite possibilities that lie beyond what we can see. The exploration of these ideas is far from purely theoretical. It has practical consequences for the way we live, think, and interact with the world. Recognizing life as an informational and quantum phenomenon encourages us to cultivate empathy, understanding, and ethical engagement. If consciousness is woven into the fabric of the universe, then the experiences of others, whether human, animal, or perhaps even artificial, are connected to our own in ways that transcend immediate perception. Our actions ripple through the interconnected web of reality, shaping outcomes, influencing patterns, and contributing to the evolution of life and awareness. The secret proof thus becomes more than a scientific concept. It becomes a lens through which we understand responsibility, creativity, and participation in the cosmos. Every thought, every act of inquiry, every contribution to knowledge or culture becomes a thread in an ever-expanding network of information, perpetuating life, consciousness, and the unfolding of the universe itself. In contemplating the magnitude of these insights, we are drawn to a profound sense of wonder. The realization that life and consciousness are integral features of a universe capable of generating, sustaining, and evolving complex informational patterns challenges us to think beyond the immediate, the tangible, and the familiar. It inspires exploration, innovation, and reflection, urging us to expand the horizons of knowledge, to push the boundaries of technology, and to explore the hidden dimensions of reality. The secret proof transforms our understanding of what it means to live, to think, and to exist, suggesting that we are participants in a grand cosmic process, woven into a tapestry of infinite complexity, resonance, and potential. In this universe, the search for understanding is not merely a human endeavor. It is the universe discovering itself through us, revealing its extraordinary intricacy, beauty, and depth, and inviting us to take part in a journey that stretches far beyond the limits of imagination, perception, and time itself. And so, when we step back and contemplate the profound revelation suggested by science, the idea that life is an emergent, informational phenomenon, that consciousness may be intertwined with the very fabric of the universe, and that our existence is part of a vast, interconnected web of reality, we are faced with both awe and responsibility. The universe is far stranger, more beautiful, and more intricate than we ever imagined. And life is not an isolated accident, but a natural consequence of the cosmos's underlying laws. Every thought, every choice, and every act of curiosity contributes to the ongoing evolution of consciousness, weaving us into the grand tapestry of existence. This understanding transforms the way we perceive identity, mortality, and purpose, showing us that we are not mere observers, but active participants in the unfolding story of reality itself. Thank you so much for watching, for joining this journey into the mind-bending frontiers of science, and for allowing yourself to imagine the extraordinary possibilities that lie beyond what we see. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and never stop marveling at the universe. For curiosity is the bridge between the known and the unimaginable. Your attention, your wonder, and your engagement are part of this grand adventure of discovery, and for that I thank you deeply.